A Monster Story by Carla Moeller, illustrated by Sabine de Viche. That's a cool name. There's the table of contents. They've got all of the different steps. We're just going to run through it though, so I'm going to truck on through. There is an old story told to this day about a land filled with colorful monsters. In this mysterious world lived a family of monsters with a brother and sister, Matt and Matilda. Matt and Matilda shared everything: their monster toys, their monster candy, and even their monster dolls and trucks. Seems a little bit unrealistic. They share well, please. One day, Matt and Matilda told their mother that they wanted to share their spots too. They were both blue, but Matt had green spots and Matilda had purple spots. "Oh, my lovely monsters," started Mamma, "you are both so sweet, but you cannot share your spots, for your bodies are made to look different from any other monster's body. Inside each of you are special instructions that make you unique. Matt, your instructions tell your body to grow only green spots, and Matilda, your instructions make you grow only purple spots. That is what makes each of you so different and special." "You mean no one else has the same instructions as we do?" Matilda asked. "Well, since you two aren't identical twins, each of you is the only monster with your particular instructions. Let me explain." And Mamma Monster told her young monsters all about their tiny cells and the special instructions inside of them called DNA. All of the tissues in our body, like our skin, bones, and muscles, are made of tiny compartments called cells. You know that already. Most cells are so small that we cannot see them without a tool to make things look much bigger. Your cousin Mike has one. It's called a microscope. Haha, Mike has a microscope. Good one, book. Each of these cells has instructions on how to build bodies, whether it's a monster cell with instructions for a monster body or a chicken cell with instructions for a chicken body. Chickens are a good example of how one special cell, the egg, can be large enough to see with your eyes. Every living thing has DNA, including all monsters, plants, and animals, and even those strange creatures called humans that live across the seas. These different life forms are all made of the same basic instructions, just in different orders. Mama continued. DNA decides how we look, what we will be made of, and how our bodies will work. Matt and Matilda were both still confused. But how can so many different things be decided by one tiny set of instructions? Asked Matilda. "Well," started Mamma, "think of the monster alphabet, which, like the human alphabet, has 26 different letters. From these different 26 letters, we can make thousands and thousands of monster words. When put together, these words can make beautiful monster stories. Now imagine that you only had 4 letters. You could still string together a long line of different combinations, as many as you wanted. DNA is just like a long string of unique combinations of 4 letters. Each of these 4 letters stands for a specific molecule or collection of atoms. Atoms are the tiny building blocks from which everything is made." And up at the top it says, "Did you know that you drink molecules?" You did. The water you drink is made of a molecule that has 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, H2O. When talking about DNA, the 4 colors or molecules are called nucleotides, said Mama. "I like to use colored dots so we can think of all the beautiful combinations we can make." "We do like colors," Matt and Matilda agreed, weirdly. "Okay then," continued Mama, "colors it is. We will think of combinations that are 3 dots long. Let's start with just one color, yellow. If we only had one yellow dot, if we only had yellow dots, how many combinations could we make? Only one, right? The whole world would have to be yellow, since that's the only color we have." "What if we had a second color? Let's add red. How many combinations could we make?" "Holy moly, look at them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Using yellow and red, we already have 8 different combinations we can make. Now, if we use 3 colors, how many combinations can we make?" "If we had 3 colors, we could make 27 combinations." "And 4 colors? Look at all those combinations." If we had 4 colors, we could make 64 combinations. Each of these combinations gives a unique instruction to the cell. Aunt Martha, who is a mathematician, made a table to show us all the combinations we can make with different colors and string lengths. What's really amazing is how unique these instructions can be using only 4 different colors. Let's think again about our 4 colors that stand for different DNA molecules: red, yellow, blue, and green. These colors could join together like colored beads in a long necklace or strand, hundreds or thousands of beads long. And now imagine one more thing. A DNA necklace actually has 2 strands or colors of molecules that almost always like to stick together. For example, red beads stick to yellow and blue stick to green. In these double strands, there are sections that we call genes. A gene is a section of DNA that decides what traits we will have, such as if our 2 horns will be purple or blue, or what color spots we might have. So now, Mama Monster continued, do you understand that Matt's genes made green spots, and Matilda, yours made purple spots? With your different DNA, just think of all the ways you are unique monsters. Wide-eyed, Matt and Matilda listened as Mama Monster continued. Scientists use powerful computers that can quickly search through a very long strand of instructions, called a genetic code. They look for patterns in the code. Most of the time, scientists find instructions that make the human body work in the same way in different people. But sometimes a single color will be different than it should be, or there's an extra color or one missing. These are called DNA mutations, which means the DNA is changed. The good news is they can't use monster DNA to make live monsters of their own. If they could, they'd have to clean up after you messy monsters all day long, joked Mama. However, they use DNA to try to improve human health. By finding these mistakes in the pattern, scientists may learn what part of the code might be causing problems, such as different diseases, or which instructions may help a person to avoid getting sick. Mama, Matilda asked, can I work as a scientist when I get older? Is that in my DNA? Of course you can, my little monster, no matter what your DNA says. Your DNA may decide what you are made of and what you look like, but you get to decide what you do with your wonderful monster life. Matt thought and then thought some more about these bodybuilding instructions called DNA. Could they really be in every single cell in a monster's body? After a long time, he approached Mama Monster. Mama, how does the same set of instructions get into every one of my cells, and where do those instructions come from? He asked. Well, my marvelously curious monster, let's start with where the instructions come from. The 2 parents of a monster child each make special types of cells. Mama monsters, like me, make what are called eggs, and daddy monsters make what we call sperm. These 2 special types of cells, eggs and sperm, each have some monster building instructions in them. Exactly half, in fact. Eggs have some of mama's instructions, and sperm have some of daddy's instructions. When these cells join, the egg is fertilized or activated. You can think of it as the egg waking up so it can start to grow. The instructions in both the egg and the sperm join together to make monster DNA like yours. That is why sometimes baby monsters have parts of them that look a little like their mom, and sometimes they have parts that look a little bit like their dad. You can see that with each of you. Matilda, you have purple spots like your dad, and Matt, you have green spots like me. Now, on to how the instructions end up in every one of your cells. As your first cell grew and split into more and more cells to form your body, the instructions were passed along to each new cell. The instructions could be copied within or would be copied within a cell, and then as that one cell broke into 2 different cells, each cell would only take one copy of the instructions. There is a complete set of instructions in every cell, but they only use the part that they need to do their job. This lets our body grow different types of tissue, such as skin, bones, and muscles. I think the most amazing thing to think about is that all of the instructions to make an entire monster body are all curled up and packed into a tiny fertilized cell, finished Mama. Isn't monster DNA magnificent? It sure is, agreed Matt and Matilda. Can't they speak for themselves? Jiminy crickets. Now that I've told you all about DNA, said Mama Monster, we can play a monster DNA game. We will pretend, and this is the point at which we're going to pause because you're going to do a different monster DNA game. So, at this time, you can stop the video and head to the next area in your to-do list for today.